I just knew that at the end of the day, I wanted to create something that tasted great and that would help people. To get to this spot, I fell in love with cooking when I was a kid in my grandmother's kitchen, and it evolved into going to a couple different culinary schools, working in hotels and restaurants, all the way through 2002. Started in Virginia and moved around to Texas and Alabama and Colorado, and grew up in a military family, so experienced different cultures and different foods, growing up, but really had the love and affinity for it during my later stages of high school and a little bit after graduation. I didn't think that a 4-year college was my go. So I really wanted to find a career path in a field that I, really loved and saw myself doing for a long time. And I just took a chance on, saying, I love this enough to make a go at it, So at that time I was going to UCCS in Colorado Springs and probably did like a semester and a half, maybe 2, and dropped out. And at that time my father was getting his last orders to go overseas again to Japan, and had the opportunity to go, but I was already out of high school and didn't want to, do that, So I found a community college in Colorado Springs and took all the credits I could, summers and whatnot, and finished their program in less time than it normally takes, and then took all those credits and transferred them to a real school in Charleston, South Carolina, at Johnson & Wales, and nice. Did a bachelor's degree in a couple years and helped people open restaurants, and we closed restaurants, and just, you're in it, you really have to love food when you're a chef and you're a part of a team in a kitchen. And that really resonated with me, with the camaraderie and the team, that it took to provide these experiences and these meals to people. So that was really a part of my soul from the very beginning. And with what I'm doing right now, it's a translation of that. It's an evolution of service, of taking care of people and nourishing them and providing an experience, much less health benefits and all that function. So I thought that, towards the tail end of cooking and being a chef and being a part of a team, that I could help in a bigger way than just being attached to a restaurant or a hotel. So I thought that, if I could, start putting down a lot of things and focusing on this wholeheartedly, I just knew that it was going to take everything that I had to make it successful. So, you start in your kitchen, and you start in your head, really, and you start to. It took me 4 years just to start to say, okay, this is really what I want to do. I worked at an olive orchard in Elmendorf, probably 30 minutes from here, towards Corpus Christi, and they were already making this tea out there, and this is in 2014. So I was out there helping the owner with her infrastructure and doing special events and helping with the harvest, of extra virgin olive oil every year, and just fell in love with the tea. I'd never seen it before, and it took me 4 years to say, all right, this is really what I do. I kept it on the back burner for a long time, not knowing how to start, really, and I had just had a daughter, who was really young and gotten married and stuff, and I was really in love with food still, and I still am, but I knew that this would take my service, my need to help people in a much more greater capacity than I ever could being a chef.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you brought some items, show and tell kind of stuff.
Yeah, these are the leaves, what they look like.
Okay.
These are the leaves from the tree, the olive tree, and you clean them, maybe strip them from the branches, and you can clean them, and then you dry them, and you can steep them just like normal tea leaves. Nice. It's considered a tea because of its history. It's always been considered a tea. Okay. You can do research and look it up. It's thousands of years old. 4,000 years, 4,500 years old. This concept that goes back to the Mediterranean basin, where they used to make it in a hot form to treat things like nausea, indigestion, and then you can fast forward to the construction of the Panama Canal. Teddy Roosevelt used to provide it to some of the workers to treat malaria, because he knew that the leaves are the tree is antimicrobial and antifungal. So whatever comes from it is going to help.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, well, this leads into my next question then. So what would you say is the biggest lie consumers are being told in this like healthy, functional beverage sector?
I think I think some brands, they're talking about these benefits like focus and clarity and gut health and probiotic this and prebiotic that, and how's that measurable, right? Mm-hmm. Just because you say something on package, how do you know? How long is it going to take for me to have a healthy gut if I drink, these beverages over time? So, 200 milligrams of caffeine and different ingredients that people utilize in their formulation, I don't think is doing the consumer any justice, much less them. If there's no real efficacy, if there's no real validation behind these ingredients and how much is in the formulation, So we've clinically dosed each 12-ounce unit of Olia that we're going to start producing in August with a high standardized level of olive leaf extract that's coming from Spain. So this extract is powder form, it's water soluble, and that's what comes from this, mm-hmm. So now we have the proof in the pudding, so to speak. When I was making it with this, I never had that. Mm-hmm. I never had the science behind it, Yeah. But when I was making it, I would get real life testimonials from our fans at farmers markets when we're doing demos and retail spots saying, what's in this? Why is it making me, why do I have energy? Or why is my blood pressure better than it was? Or so on and so forth. Not to mention, I always use really simple ingredients. Didn't throw sugar at anything, to make it taste good. From a chef standpoint, you want to make it the best that you can. So if you already have something that's super beneficial for people, why would you add preservatives, additives, sugar to it? So the extract is standardized and the formulation is standardized to make sure that we're providing efficacy with how much of this we're putting in 12 ounces.
So it's dosed into each can?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So the benefits we can speak to
right.
in a very, very granular way now, yeah. Whereas before it was just kind of like I was steeping these leaves, when I was making it 3 times as long as what you would traditionally learn and study on how to make an olive leaf tea. They'll state, steep the leaves in, 140, 160 degree water for 5 to 10 minutes. Well, I took that way further to make sure I was extracting as much of these compounds as I possibly could yeah. out of the leaves.
Did that have a negative impact on flavor? Like you oversteep tea, you get bitterness, right?
If you go too long, it's going to be more astringent and bitter. And there's already a wall that we had to hurdle with this because of the polyphenol, the compound levels of this standardized extract. This extract has more of an antioxidant capacity than dark chocolate, red wine, pomegranates, acai, all those natural ingredients, green tea, all those ingredients and things that you find in nature and on shelf that speak to antioxidants. Mm-hmm. This is something it's not talked about a lot, because it's very hard to work with because of the natural astringency in it, because it's got such a high level of these compounds and antioxidant levels.
Well, so you've been on shelves. I know you did some market launch in Central Market, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us about that. What was that journey like?
Amazing. Central Market is a great partner. I love them. I love HEB. I love being a part of HEB's backyard here in San Antonio. They allowed us to grow and learn and educate as much as we wanted to do. So all of our marketing dollars were put into promoting and demoing in each store in Texas for the better part of 14 months. We were in each store almost twice a month, just demoing our product, educating people, talking about the benefits. Obviously, they get to taste it and provide real-life feedback. It's just like a glorified farmer's market, and that's where we started. So we got real-life feedback from the very beginning, just trying to keep money coming in so we could produce more for the next week, honestly,
Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in building this consumer brand here in San Antonio. I feel like I don't know a lot of those journeys. So what are your thoughts if you had to do this in another city, for example? Like, do you think San Antonio like you brought up the HEB partnership, and we're so lucky in how unique that is. What are positives and negatives about doing this in San Antonio versus Austin, Boston, then San Francisco? I don't know.
Resources.
Yeah.
Resources and the education to the fact that we are a city of makers, and we're not fully supported in that way yet. But I'm excited to be a part of the ground up, the upcoming, it wasn't here before, but it is now. I like to be a part of helping, structure that kind of movement in San Antonio with the consumer packaged goods space. We have a group, SACPG, where there's monthly meetings and a lot of resources on the website that people can learn from, whether it be resources for co-packing or different vendors or fundraising or what have you. Austin is a great city for what I'm talking about right now, and I found myself going there at least twice a week a while ago. And it was because San Antonio didn't have it for me. I couldn't find it in San Antonio. For instance, for this next production run that we're doing in August, for the first production run of Olia, I have to go to Ohio because I can't find a facility here in San Antonio or around San Antonio that will do the small batch that I need to do, So now you're talking about things that are happening in Port San Antonio and, just more economic development that you're seeing and people talking about on how to support what we're doing, because we're here, and I can assure you that we're here. We're not going anywhere. It's just that we need more resources, and I think we have a good opportunity, a great opportunity to expand upon that with HEB being so close and wanting to help. And I think the more of a voice that you have and the bigger of a team that you have, it's just a matter of time before you're successful with what you're looking for. You can accomplish your goals.
So when you interfaced with HEB, and are you still working with them?
No. So we took the entire year of 2025 with our rebrand and reformulation. The last quarter of 2024, it took everything to do this rebrand and reformulation. So we've been out of Central Market for a year.
Well, I'm curious, when you engage with it, is it like an incubation type thing that they do? Like, do they have milestones for it, or is it you have access to the store, come do the farmer's market approach, or do they help you along, help you find manufacturers, suppliers, whatever it might be?
There's a buyer for each category in the store, so you got to get in touch with the buyer, and you got to plead your case, and you got to have a great product, and you got to have a great story, and you got to have something that's needed by people. And also, the buyer is, smart and educated, so they're seeing what's going on in the world today. Not to mention the United States. And if your product matches up with that, then they'll give you a shot. They'll put you on shelf, but you got to work at it. It's one thing to get on, but it's even more difficult to get off the shelf. So that's why we were in store so many times a month. It's because we wanted to show presence. We wanted to build that exposure with not just the internal customer, but also the external. So you have fans that are seeing you there in store multiple times a month, and you want to approach those folks, the foodies, if you will, and talk to them about your brand. Give them free product if you can. Sometimes it gets sticky because you can't take things off the shelf and give them to the associates. You have to bring extra product. It's got to be marked off the UPC so they don't get caught at the cash register. But you start to build that audience just like you would at a farmer's market, with the folks that are in store working, so they'll be advocates for your brand as well.
So looking ahead, I don't know, fast forward 5 years, do you see Drinkolia being a luxury brand or something available to everybody? Like, how do you differentiate where are you going?
Good question. So our target audience is, it's educated females, 25 to 49 is what a lot of people in the beverage industry will tell you if they look at a brand like Olia. But that kind of audience is softened a little bit, I think. Definitely seeing the people that come to the retail spots when we're demoing and when we're doing farmers markets and stuff like that. I was getting senior citizens coming up, and buying the product. I would deliver to some senior citizens who couldn't drive because of the clean ingredient list that I had, and I didn't use any sugar back in the day. I was seeing little kids come up and want to buy the product because they like the flavor profile. And then when the parents see that there's no caffeine in it and it's natural ingredients and stuff like that, of course they want to buy it as well. You're seeing shift with millennials and Gen Zs that are supporting brands like us, emerging brands, people that are doing things the right way with great ingredients that give them something. They provide them function, you know, more so than picking up a Coke or a Pepsi or a Mountain Dew. Where these legacy brands, you're seeing that market share shift a little bit from them to the emerging brands, you know, because it's not just that we provide function, we have all these things in package and, you know, the can or whatever. It's people pick up beverages and products for that matter, you know, because of what it says about them. They want to see what people will say about them if they're holding this product, and how does that resonate with them, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that we're right smack dab in the middle of a great conversation and a movement to where even before COVID, people were interested in wanting to learn more about their diet and what they were consuming, where it was coming from, you know. There was a farm to table movement that happened in the 80s, the late 80s, when I was cooking, and it was all about supporting local farms. It was all about wanting to understand where these ingredients were coming from, whether it was a micro sprout or a fish, you know?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with beverage these days. Over the past years, people want to understand the ingredient lists.
Traceability to where you got it all. Yeah.
Yep. Not to say that everything needs to be organic or, you know, certified this or that, but, you know, how are you doing things, you know, and where is it coming from, and why do you say what you say? So we really, really speak to transparency, and I think that if you're responsible for educating people, then you got to be transparent about everything that you're doing. So there's nothing that we're hiding. We've worked real hard to be undeniable with our product. We've worked really hard to make it taste good, so it is easily consumed and accepted.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like a really, really strong, like a chamomile tea and herbal tea. It's a little bit, and I say strong, it's stronger than those light herbal teas, those light, you know, hot teas, but it does have a little bit of astringency on the back end where you'll know that it's coming from a highly standardized extract with a high polyphenol, a high antioxidant content. Just like when you get those peppery notes in the back of your throat when you're consuming a great extra virgin olive oil, same kind of thing. You know, it's because of the compounds that they're prevalent, not in the olives, but in the leaf. So we've added some nice fruit juices, botanicals as well, to kind of round out, you know, the olive leaf tea flavor profile, if you will, to make it, you know, attractive to the consumer and something that they would want to drink every day, if not multiple times.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so you're making a batch. Can people get this now?
In August.
In August.
We'll be back selling in August, building back Texas. We'll continue to build back Texas for probably the next year, maybe year and a half. And then through our growth partner in Dallas and a broker in North Carolina, we'll start to focus on other states that make the most sense for us.
So August out in HEBs?
We're going to try to get back. We're contacting the buyer again and telling them about, you know, what we've been up to over the past year or so. So it's just hopefully a formality when we can start to sell back. Yeah, this is so the antioxidant level is really what we talk about today, and we never talked about that before because we never had something like this. This
standardized. That's a good, that's smart.
But now we can, and we really talk about oxidative stress,
Yeah.
and that's what antioxidants do. They prevent, you know. So this is the extract that we use. It's water soluble. You can smell it. Those are the leaves ground up, and then they're extracted. And
You think that smell relates to the flavor?
Similar.
Yeah.
Almost.
That smells kind of awesome.
It's very light. But, you know, because of the readings on this after it's been tested, you know, we speak to this because, like you said, what are people not getting with what they're buying these days? You know, and I spoke to efficacy and the ingredients that people are using. Now we can talk about oxidative stress. We can talk about the antioxidant level, because you're talking about something that helps with the support of your human body to prevent these diseases that people are known to get, you know. So it's help with cardiovascular, it's, you know, heart health, it's cognitive function, weight management, it's anti-inflammatory. I have arthritis myself, so I drink it. It's just a laundry list.
Yeah.
There's some reports that'll say that the tea is better for you than the oil because of the compounds that are found in the leaves. And just like kombucha, yerba mate, there's this beginning of like, what the hell is this? Why does it taste like this? I don't know if I like it. I love it, kind of thing. But over time, it starts to become accepted, you know? And I think a lot of that has to do with the marketing, obviously, the flavor, obviously, but it's the function. It's what am I getting out of this? Why am I going to spend $2-3 on something if I'm just trying to quench my thirst?
Yeah.
Like I can easily drink water. Why am I buying this? Why am I supporting this? And we speak to oxidative stress, and nobody does that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I mean, it was funny you brought up the COVID thing. I feel like, was it Aurora Bora? There are all these brands that came out of nowhere.
Aurora Bora, yep.
It was all during COVID. I felt like these interesting flavor profiles, not that kind of standard cola, right? So you're right in that space. I see it. What is it? Is it Death Water that's got like
Liquid Death?
Liquid Death. Like it's just a big skull that sells
It's
water.
It's a marketing
There's a
company.
huge marketing thing to this. But I do think Spindrift is huge now. All these companies
Awesome
moving
company.
into, they're all moving into stuff that's like, I want something a little different for a beverage. So.
They're doing that because people are telling them what they want.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just them in a room saying, what are we going to do next, guys?
Right.
And that's what, I love talking about is the story behind this. And, something like this, it speaks to like some science lab, that's protected and, you got to have security clearance to get into it and stuff. And I'm just a chef, a punk kid that, grew up not wanting to go in the military because my old man was never around kind of thing. And I just wanted to do things my way. And over time, you realize that's not the way. And you need people that will support you if you want to accomplish your goals. But I just knew that at the end of the day, I wanted to create something that tasted great and that would help people. And this is a great caveat. And come to find out, it has all these great health benefits associated with it. And it can truly help a lot of people.
So you're the first mover in this space, but man, like if it starts getting traction, other people are like, we can do an olive leaf tea, right?
Come on.
Your differentiator is standard dosing of the polyphenols each time.
Yeah. I don't talk about the dose per unit a lot to people unless they really want to geek out about it. I'm definitely not talking about it, at farmers markets or in store and stuff like that because I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah.
I want them to like naturally come into this information and be educated, kind of thing if they don't ask me about it. But we hang our hat on, a product that helps with oxidative stress, that tastes great, that looks cool, that hopefully after this rebrand, it resonates with our consumer. It's more front-facing. It speaks to the Mediterranean diet. It speaks to the lifestyle. It speaks to extra virgin olive oil. You know what I mean? So we really tried to hone in on that with the direction that we took the name, the colors, and the complete rebrand. So if you're looking at us, you're like, yeah, I know about the Mediterranean diet. Yeah, I know about extra virgin olive. This is coming from the same tree. It must do similar kinds of things.
Is it also tailored to that audience that you said, women between these? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, so the color schemes and all the design. That's cool.
It's a science.
Yeah.
There's a science behind it, And in the beginning, I named the first brand Special Leaf. How vague is that? What kind of leaf is this? What is it going to do to me?
Leaf,
you know what I mean? You could go any direction with that, But it just goes to show, like, I just stumbled into this and unknowingly kept up with it for a number of years. And, just kind of like wanted to bring in people that were smarter than me because I knew that it had legs. I just didn't know what I didn't know. Yeah. But eventually I would if I could talk to you and learn. I was taking calls with VC companies in the very beginning. I had no business talking to those people. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Call me in 4 years when you're doing, $1 million in revenue, And I just thought like, well, I don't know shit right now. You know what I mean? So what could it hurt? Right. If you're willing to give me the time, I'm going to take it. Yeah. And here I am,
That's cool. That's fun. These are like the same tales that we hear. I mean, you're in this, consumer CPG space, but everyone talks about the same things, right? The struggles, always capital resources over and over. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing right now is raising money.
I would love to talk to folks from an environment where they're like, yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, we have all the resources.
They're lying to you?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think that is a forever problem to solve. So,
and especially if you're all in and if you're not like because I was making good money as a chef, and that all stops.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to figure out like how to keep this going and also home going at the same time, you know. And to this day, I'm still helping people. I'm still picking up, you know, odd end jobs and, you know, just whatever I can bring in while I'm taking Zoom meetings and calls and traveling here and there. And, you know what I mean? Because I've been on the market for almost a year and a quarter, you know. So I have no revenue coming in, you know. But I knew that that was a necessity. I could not keep doing it like this. I went and did production runs at Alamo Beer right down the road from us with Eugene, my friend. And I was making it with whole leaves like this. And they would have to like scoop them out of the big lauder tons and throw them out or take them to a, you know, a place that would do composting or whatever. This is a water soluble extract. So every co-packer will do this. There's not any co-packer besides this one down here that will do this.
Well, see, that's a benefit that you were in San Antonio. Look at that.
I love Eugene.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Eugene. You know,
he's great.
Blessed to know him and to be able to do that. But it's just part of the journey, you know. But it's taken us this long to find that and then reformulate everything and then rebrand and, you know, just keeping up with, you know, the fundraising aspect of it and marketing and it's a lot. But it's really helped me coming from kitchens, man. It's really helped me. And you just have to have a thick skin, and you have to want to come back after getting kicked down continuously and repeatedly. And you hear no way more than you hear yes, you know. And you can't let that deter you. You can't let that do anything but offer some sense of inspiration and more drive and more like, oh, all right, you know.
Well, so all that stress, we'd like to ask, where's the best margarita in the city?
The Chispas at La Gloria.
Finally. Well, La
You get a
Gloria.
good server. They'll What's the higher end Mexican joint?
La Fonda?
No, there's one off of.
I know what it is.
You know what it is. He's talking Chispas.
Yeah, are you talking El Mirasol?
Yeah.
So,
Those are good.
So Luna and El Mirasol, that's it, yeah.
Those are dangerous.
They are dangerous, yeah.
Yeah.
Their whole Reddit threads on what happened to me after some Chispas. One person who said my son's name is Chispita or something like that.
Named their child after the.
Yeah.